Alrighty, welcome to Running Rants and Recaps. This is a video series where I'm going to be recapping the week of training, any upcoming events that I have coming up, and just any running tangents and insights that may pop up along the way. So for context, I'm a marathon runner and an ultra marathon runner. I love trail running, but I also have a goal this year to run a sub 2:30 marathon by the end of the year. So if you're wanting to just follow along with this journey, I'm just going to be documenting this just with some weekly recaps and just talking running shoes and events and training protocols and all of that. So yeah, I'm kicking off this first episode with a bit of a doozy because I've picked up a back and hip injury and we're about 4 weeks out from our first goal marathon race of the year. So let's rewind to November last year. We are now in April. So around October, November last year, I sort of started a speed block. So I was focusing on top end sprint speed, middle distance speed, lots of 200 meter, 400 meter, 1 kilometer, that kind of range of intervals at the track, on the treadmill primarily. This sort of went all through our New Zealand summer, okay, so it sort of started end of October, November, December, and then in January I started adding in some longer stuff, working towards eventually the goal marathon, which is a local marathon here in Hawke's Bay, which is going to be the 17th of May. So gave myself a lot of time to take that speed and extend it out into longer workouts. And everything was going good until it wasn't. So in this video I want to talk about the rehab process and a few other things as well that I've sort of discovered over this last week. So this is an old injury that I picked up way back, probably about 15 years ago or so in the gym doing deadlifts. This is back when I was powerlifting and sort of bodybuilding, doing calisthenics, things like that. And it has sort of reared its ugly head again over the years, but I've sort of learnt how to rehab it, and every time it does pop up it's because, generally speaking, I've been a bit slack on the strength training front, which once again, unfortunately, my mistake. As I started increasing my mileage, I got a little bit lazy with my strength work and didn't listen to the body, and here we go, we've got a back injury. But here's how we're rehabbing it. So just over a week ago, when the back went, it was quite debilitating. I was in bed essentially for the whole weekend, trying to lay flat to get a bit of comfort in the back. It was sort of the most comfortable position possible, and just letting it completely rest. The body was already under a lot of stress from a lot of running, so I knew that the body was trying to recuperate from the running and now this injury on top of it. So I didn't want to start the rehabbing too early because the body was already under a lot of stress. So let it rest completely for 2 days, and then I started a very aggressive rehab protocol. I have this general go-to strategy that I use. So essentially, first off, I work on decompressing the spine. Sometimes this is quite painful early on, but I do an assisted passive hang. So I hang from a bar with my feet on an object and just give as much load as I can handle on the back, just trying to get any tight muscles starting to elongate and relax as much as possible. Then I throw in some side plank motions to get some lateral stability in the lower back. I add in some Supermans, once again just starting small and increasing the resistance as the back starts to allow me. And then from there start throwing in lower body squats, lunges, calf raises, core work, upper body work, essentially just trying to promote as much circulation as possible. So that's sort of the strength component to getting this hip and back recovering as fast as possible. From a nutrition standpoint, taking like natural anti-inflammatories, turmeric and ginger and a whole bunch of things. Now, trying not to lose all this cardio that I've built for about 5 or 6 months. What I've been doing is I've gone to a local hill, big trail, lot of elevation, a lot of climbing, and practicing nasal breathing and breath holds as I'm climbing up and down this hill. And I noticed it would, up these hills, the heart rate would actually spike quite high up until my threshold zones, which is really good. And doing these breath holds and counting how many steps I can walk on one breath, just to really try and test the cardiorespiratory system and essentially try not to lose bit of damage control really. I'm trying not to lose as much fitness as possible while I'm healing this back and this hip. So within a 1 week time frame from being pretty much bedridden, struggling to walk, to now being able to jog and walk around these hills, that's a really good sign. Yesterday, I was able to deadlift a 20 kilogram kettlebell without any pain. So it's all moving in the right direction. However, the next 2 upcoming events, in 2 weeks' time, I've got a marathon as my last training run before the main marathon, which is in 4 weeks' time. So it's sort of touch and go at the moment. Time is not on my side, but like I said, within a 1 week period, I've gone from being almost bedridden to now jogging, so that's a really good sign. I'll see how I go in the next couple of weeks. If I feel like I can handle this training run marathon, I will do it. Otherwise, I'm just going to scrap it and just try and get the fitness back in 4 weeks' time for the A-Race marathon. So this A-Race marathon, we've got a whole group of us aiming to run sub 240. Training, like I said, training's been going brilliant, hitting all the numbers, was feeling very confident going into this race until the back injury popped up. But yeah, I'll keep recapping each week. I'll keep recapping how the rehab's going and sharing any more lessons I might learn along the way. So hopefully this can help other people who are injured. And one thing I would say is just listen to the body. It's super important. I know I should have listened to the body. It was giving me warning signals for about a week before the back completely went on me. So yeah, listen to the body. If it's giving you early warning signals, just have some days where you're just going for a walk or jumping on a bike or going swimming or still exercising but cross-training and not aggravating that injury. But that's sort of the tightrope that we walk as runners, trying to get the best out of ourselves. We're always sort of on that tipping point, so to speak. So is what it is. It's just a reminder, and I'm going to do my best to rehab this as quick as possible and hopefully turn up on marathon day fit and healthy and ready to smash the sub 240. So what else have I got written down here? So yeah, got those 2 marathons within a fortnight of one another. I know that's quite a risky approach, but yeah, just want to have fun this year and compete as much as possible and try and stay healthy. So something I find really interesting that I've discovered over this last weekend while hiking around these trails is, anyone who's familiar with this channel knows that years ago all I ran in was the Vibram 5 fingers, and I was sort of one of those, one of those purists, those crazy people that couldn't shut up about foot health, and I just believed that was the answer. All you need is Vibrams and barefoot running and all of that, and I still believe that I've taken a lot of lessons from that period of time. But nowadays that I'm doing more road running as well, yeah, I love me some good midsole cushioning. However, something interesting has happened in about the last year or so where I started getting calf issues when I was running uphill, and I never experienced these calf issues when running in the Vibrams. And this past weekend when I started getting into this hiking to try and rehab my back, I wore my Ultra Timp 5s on the first day, so they're about a 29mm stack height trail running shoe. And even when walking, I was still getting those weird calf issues where they just start cramping up and they just ache, and I can't really explain it. I don't know what's going on. And it happened once I was warmed up. It's sort of, the symptoms sort of reduced a little bit, but they're still there. And so anyway, so the next day I chucked on the Vibram 5 fingers for the same walk, and I haven't run in them in a long time. And funnily enough, the calf pain was completely gone, and I was actually walking at a faster pace. And I was thinking, okay, there's something going on here. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just, my flat feet are better suited for Vibrams. Who knows? Maybe it's just a genetic thing. But then I got thinking, okay, what's actually going on? If we're walking up a steep hill, what's going on here mechanically with a barefoot shoe versus a shoe that's got midsole cushioning? And I'm picturing, as we're going uphill, when you're in the Vibrams, you feel very close and connected to the ground. You can kind of claw your toes into the ground and just pull yourself up. It's a very nimble, light-footed feeling. When you've got midsole cushioning going on, I was thinking, what's happening when you're compressing that foam and it's rebounding? Obviously, if you're on a horizontal platform, or surface rather, like a road, it's compressing and it's bouncing you and pushing you, propelling you forward. But if you're on this incline and this foam is creating some instability, it's got a bit of give to it, and as it compresses and rebounds, is that essentially pushing you backwards and almost downhill? Is that opposing forces sort of fighting against you? So that's sort of my theory here as to maybe why I was experiencing those calf issues going uphill when I've throwing on a shoe with midsole cushioning compared to a Vibram where I feel like I can just glide up that hill. So that's a new theory that I'm going to start playing around with. I'm going to start bringing back the Vibrams into my training protocol, only for trail running, not for the road. They certainly do not excel on the road. But I'm going to start testing this theory and just see how the body responds, because yeah, I feel a lot more connected and faster going uphill in a Vibram, and I don't have the calf issues, whereas whenever I'm wearing midsole cushioning going up a hill, I get calf issues. So I'd be interested to hear if anyone else has have these similar symptoms, and if my theory sounds like it's got some validity to it, or if I just sound like a bloody crazy barefoot shoe lover. So I'd love to know. But it also got me thinking about Kilian Jornet, who's, essentially the GOAT of trail running. And the shoes he wears, the brand that he designed, Normal, they're quite a trimmed down, low tech shoe. They're quite a low stack height. There's no crazy super foam in them or anything like that. They're a very minimal shoe, and he just absolutely decimates everyone that he races against. Well, most of the time. And obviously it comes down to the runner. I mean, you could probably put Eliud Kipchoge in a pair of slippers and he would absolutely dominate most people. But the point is, I think there's something there with midsole compounds. How do they respond on the trails, especially steep and technical terrain, versus obviously on the road? Generally speaking, the more cushioning we have, the faster we go. But I think there's something there with the trail. So yeah, I find that quite interesting. I'd like to hear if anyone else has some insight into that. So speaking of shoes, here's some of the recent road running shoes I've been wearing. These are the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s, and these are the Topo Spectre 2s. So these are sort of going back to my origins of, the wide forefoot sort of shoes. This is the first time I've ever worn a pair of Topos, and absolutely freaking love them. They've got the Pebax powered midsole foam there. And I was thinking I might do a sort of head-to-head shoe review video of these two shoes. I find the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s and the Topo Spectre 2s, they've got some real similarities to them in terms of sort of where I would put them in my shoe rotation, even though they're very different in the sense where the Sauconys have a carbon plate, they're more narrow race day fit. The Topos are more wider toe box, sort of the anatomical foot shaped shoe. Slightly different midsole compounds, but I find that they would suit different runners, but they would be in the same sort of category in terms of shoe rotation. So I think there would be quite a insightful video. So if anyone wants to see that sort of head-to-head shoe review video, then yeah, let me know down in the comments. Yeah, I also bought a pair of the new Saucony Endorphin Elite 2s, which I'm planning on wearing for the marathon. They feel like you're running on a trampoline. They're absolutely insane. I can't wait to run an entire race in them. They're still just sitting in their box at the moment. So hopefully my back comes right in time so I can actually chuck them on and let it rip. So yeah, I think that'll be nothing else I've written down really to talk about for this this video. So just to recap this video, bouncing back from injury, listen to your body, be patient, have a good strength training protocol and plan, understand what cross-training protocols can help you maintain fitness while you're working through an injury. Try not to let it get to the point that I did. I was stupid, didn't listen to my body, should have rested or should have cross-trained instead of continuing to run, but it's just one of those simple reminders that you need sometimes. But the silver lining of this is I've sort of rediscovered the where the Vibram 5 fingers are going to fit into my shoe rotation, and it's going to be a fun year of training with Vibrams in the trails, super shoes on the road, and just a whole blend of road marathons, ultra marathons in the trails. It's going to be really fun finding the sweet spot of building more speed, building more endurance, which shoe is going to fit into which race. And yeah, I'm excited to document this whole thing. Even though I'm currently injured, you just got to stay positive and just trust your body, and yeah, it'll all work out. It's all good. So yeah, that'll recap this video, and yeah, we'll just keep documenting each week, see what sort of insights pop up. Hopefully within a week's time I'll have a more positive video in terms of the health of the back, the health of the hip, and yeah, we'll keep this thing rolling. So thanks for watching. Please comment if you've got any comments regarding these topics or anything else that you want to discuss that I could maybe talk about in the next upcoming episodes. It'll be cool making this thing collaborative. Hopefully it builds, and yeah, we can create some cool discussions around running. Whew! Cheers.